Playoff spots and division titles are on the line as the NFL's regular season comes to an end. Hey everyone, welcome into another NFL Breakdown. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Post Media sports betting columnist Don Brennan and Toronto Sun NFL writer Dan Billicky. Time to get their against the spread picks for week number 18. And guys, we have made it to the end of the regular season, but still plenty of storylines from a betting perspective to talk about. Don, your Chicago Bears set to wrap up the season on the road at Lambeau Field as 3-point road underdog against the Packers. Can the Bears finish the season on a high?
Well, I find this very interesting. The Packers are in the exact same situation they were in last year for the final game of the season when they were hosting the Detroit Lions. All they needed was a win to get in the playoffs, just like is the case this year. I don't know if you remember what happened. I sure do. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers couldn't move on offense, and the Packers lost 20-16 to the Lions. The Lions at the time had won, or they finished the season winning 8 of their final 10 games, sort of setting the tone for this year. And I see a lot of similarities with this Bears team. They've won 5 of their last 7. They've won 3 of them convincingly. And to me, everything is sort of coming together, especially on defense. But the offense now under Justin Fields is coming together as well. I think going into this one, I think the Packers are coming off an impressive win in Minnesota last week to set the stage for this. But I mean, the Bears, to me, have just got everything going. They've got they've got the defense, and they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing a Packers team without Jaire Alexander, which will really hurt when it comes to DJ Moore, because DJ Moore is getting, well, he's had a great season. Let's face it. So I mean, I like the Bears. Aaron Jones is another key component for the Packers. 100 over 120 yards the last 2 games, and now he's facing the number 1 rushing defense. I like the Bears to go in there and do the same thing the Lions did last year. I think they're going to win the game outright.
All right, Dan, the Colts and Texans battling for wildcard spots in week number 18. Indy, a 1.5-point home underdog to Houston. Which way are you leaning in this one?
Well, I'll start off with a little fun fact for you guys. This is not only the Texans' first primetime game of the season, it's their first non-1 p.m. kickoff. And if there's one thing that C.J. Stroud has proved this season, is that he's ready for the bright lights. He made his return from a concussion last week and didn't have to do much as the Texans' defense dominated the Titans. But back when these two teams met in week 2, Stroud lit up the Colts for 384 yards in just his second career start. India is just 500 at home and has a negative point differential overall, and they'll prove they aren't a playoff team, while the Texans should grab a playoff spot and maybe even the AFC South title.
All right, Don, who would have thought that the Bills would be playing for the AFC East title just a few weeks ago, but here they are visiting Miami as 3-point road favorites. Who is coming out on top in the AFC East?
Well, it's interesting. The Bills withstood all those injuries earlier in the season to find themselves in this position, and now they are sprinting towards the playoffs, while the Dolphins are limping in. They're coming off just a blowout loss to the Ravens last week, and their injury report is speckled with big names. I mean, they're missing both edge rushers in Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, and now Xavier Howard is questionable. Probably won't play, I would think. They're missing Jalen Waddle, again, questionable, but could maybe not play, and Raheem Mostert maybe not playing. They're missing a lot of big names, and Tua's got the sore shoulder now, too. The Dolphins don't need this game, right? They're in the playoffs. They'd like to win the AFC East title, but they don't need the game. The Bills, on the other hand, it's in or go fishing for the Bills, and they've just been steamrolling opponents now, or 4 straight wins. I like everything about the way they're going, and they have dominated the Dolphins over the years. They've won 12 of the last 14 matchups. Josh Allen, 9-2 career record. I think 31 touchdown passes and 3 or 4 interceptions. He's owned the Dolphins, and I expect that to continue this week. I expect the Bills to win this one outright.
Finally, Dan, on the opposite end of the AFC East, we've got the Jets and Pats. New England, a 1.5-point favorite at home. Is it going to end well for Bill Belichick in what could be his final game as Patriots?
Well, the Pats have won 15 straight in this rivalry, and 23 of the past 25 meetings between these teams. And both of those Jets wins went to overtime. So, in fact, the last time the Jets beat the Patriots in regulation was 2011. Now, we know that the Pats are finishing up their worst season ever under Belichick, but this isn't a team that's going to roll over, especially if this is actually his last game in charge. Their defense has been solid and it ranks 9th overall in DVOA, while the offense has been better with Bailey Zappi, which is kind of incredible. Brees Hall has been fantastic for the Jets down the stretch, but if Belichick knows one thing, it's how to take away your opponent's best weapon. And while it may seem foolish to spot points with a team that's just 1-7 at home, there's just no way we can back the Jets.
Yeah, it should be an exciting Week 18 wrapping up the regular season. As always, let us know what you're betting on in the comments section below. For all of Don and Dan's NFL picks, head to the Toronto Sun.